What are they cooking behind the scenes, Ineos? Surely something big is about to drop.
This is the very last update I just got on my phone few seconds before jumping into this video. Big confidence from Real Madrid. We wait for this final approval, but the breaking news of the day is that Real Madrid obviously want a final answer, an official answer, a definitive answer. In the next, I would say, hours. This is not going to be a long saga. Real Madrid wanted and always wanted a resolution as soon as possible. And now, my understanding, guys, is that it's not 22 million euros, it's more than this. In terms of net guaranteed salary, it's more than this. It's a long-term contract, so everything is now on a higher level than expected by several rumors over the recent weeks. We heard many things, but here, on this channel, you only heard one thing. The understanding is that all parties, agents, club, player are optimistic. I can tell you one thing, guys, that also Jose Mourinho, the manager of Real Madrid, is involved in this story.
Get into the comments section. Let me know what you think. We bring you the significant updates as they drop and are important to the club. This, I think, is very, very significant.
We want to know who we're buying. We want to know who we're selling. We still need more players. Everyone's starting to lose their mind a little bit. Arsenal going strong. Chelsea going strong. Man City going strong. We're the chasing pack. We want to close that gap. Joining me, of course, is Angelina Kelly to go through the best of it. Angie, you feeling calm? Are you feeling happy, excited, nervous, anxious? What are you saying right now? Where are you at?
I feel like it's a mixture of all of it. I am nervous going into this season because, like I always say, we don't want a repeat of Grimsby. We would like to think that Man United will have a decent run in all of the cup competitions, as well as competing, within the top 5 or 6 of the, the Premier League race. And you look at the squad and you don't feel completely confident, but at the same time, you look at some of the names that we've missed out on. In a way, I guess I kind of have to trust that that's been the right decision. That's been good business to not pay through the nose like we always do. But yeah, I think some of the news coming out this week regarding the women's side of stuff, etc.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I think, just a bit nervy overall, I would say.
Yeah, it's not easy, and we always do this as fans, don't we? Like when we look around the league and see other people's movements,
you want what everyone else has got.
Your own. Exactly. I remember when we were over the moon that we'd signed Yuri Tillemans for £35 million. Then I started seeing United fans saying, "Whoa, I didn't know that Aston Villa were going to take that money and go buy João Gomez from Wolves. He's way younger than Yuri Tillemans. Maybe we should have got him instead." It's like you can't have everyone. You really can't. So we've got a lot to talk about. We need to talk about Lewis Hall, Marcus Rashford, of course, what's going on at the women's team. We want to talk about our current midfield options. But as usual, we've got Skyver in the ranks. And Crookie's been off skiving again. He's been off at the World Cup, come back for a show, and he's off skiving to Portugal. But before he went to Portugal, here is the latest of what he had to say regarding Manchester United's transfer business.
What does Guimaraes' departure mean for the future of left-back Lewis Hall? Well, I reported back in the spring that Manchester United was showing serious interest in the England international. Of course, agonisingly missed out on a place in Thomas Tuchel's World Cup squad. A lot of people didn't agree with that decision at the time. You do wonder if Lewis Hall was thinking then, well, maybe if I was a Manchester United player, my seat on the plane would have been secured. United's interest remains. We're told they're willing to pay up to £60 million to prize Hall away from the North East, but having already made £70 million for Gordon, £100 million for Tonali, and now £75 million for Guimaraes, there's no real financial pressure on Newcastle, and you wonder if the hierarchy there might see this Lewis Hall situation as a chance to make a statement. The shop window is closed. We're not selling any more of our star players. Certainly, I think it's going to be a difficult deal for Manchester United to do. What do the Red Devils have by way of alternative? Well, Harry Massa's had a pretty decent pre-season, but the vibe coming out of Old Trafford is still that he will be allowed to leave on loan, leaving Luke Shaw really as the only first-choice left-back. They've got Dorgu as well, but he seems better suited higher up the pitch. Keep an eye on Fulham's Anthony Robinson, the USA international. Their experienced Premier League campaigner would probably come a lot cheaper than Lewis Hall. He's someone I'm told is on Manchester United's radar as well. So we're recording this on Wednesday, August the 5th, 5 days before Marcus Rashford is due to report back for pre-season training at Manchester United. He was given an extended break after England's World Cup semi-final defeat to Argentina. Is he going to be part of the furniture once the Premier League season kicks off in just a couple of weeks' time now? Well, it's hard to see that. I think he's still got some issues with the hierarchy over the way they handled his departure, initially on loan to Aston Villa, and then, of course, last season at Barcelona. He put up that emotional message, didn't he, to the Barcelona fans, signalling that his dreams of a return to the Nou Camp have been dashed, mainly by the signing of his England colleague Anthony Gordon. An irony there that Gordon also took his place in Thomas Tuchel's starting 11 at the World Cup over in the States this summer. He's on £325,000 a week. That's a massive stumbling block for any potential suitors. I reported a couple of weeks ago that Fenerbahce was showing interest. He wasn't particularly keen at that stage to move to Turkey, but as we get closer to the end of the window, you wonder if he might get desperate. He doesn't even have a squad number at Old Trafford. His number 10 jersey was given to summer signing Matheus Cunha a year ago. That could be quite an awkward conversation when he does return to United's training base in a few days' time.
Crookie there. Nice of him to touch in with us before he jets off and leaves us again. But Ange, let's talk about what he was talking about with Lewis Hall, because this is a player that is very exciting. Manchester United clearly interested in him, willing to pay up to £60 million. But it's been widely reported, as Crookie says, it's a very difficult deal to do. Newcastle United have lost a lot of players this summer and don't want to lose this one.
Yeah, it's one of those where in my head, like, is it that difficult to do? I completely, trust what Alex Crook is saying. How could I go against Crookie? But, they've already lost the likes of Tonali, Gordon, Guimaraes is pretty much penned into Arsenal at the time of us talking. Joe Linton reportedly wants to leave. So I guess if you're Newcastle, you've already sold, quite a number of your big players. A few more might go. You may as well just, anyone who doesn't want to be there at this point, you may as well cut the cord with them all and just rip it up and start again. So in my head, maybe I'm a bit delusional.
Like you.
Yeah, probably not. But, if they're willing to part with so many, what's one more? So I guess in my head, I'm kind of hoping that would be the idea behind it. But Lewis Hall would be a great addition. Losing his spot to Dan Burn last season, was a little bit worrying. I think as I've said before, I think it cost him his place at the World Cup. But I think that there's been links with Manchester United for a while. I think that he would have been a great option. We all love Luke Shaw. He's 31 years of age. With the injuries, that probably makes him about 34, 35. We know that he's not going to be able to do a full season. I've said it before, I like Jed Spence at the World Cup. We've not heard anything, so I think that idea from me, has to sail off into the sunset. But I think also there's been a lot of talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly, because obviously left back and midfield seem to be the two areas that United are looking into. I think that Lewis-Skelly can play in both positions, and at this moment in time, if Lewis Hall's not an option, he would be up there as one of the top picks. He's a young, exciting talent. I think for Mikel Arteta to trust him in a Champions League final speaks volumes to the kind of person he is. I know he didn't play as much last season, but to still bring him in for those big games. And I think if Arsenal do get Vinicius Junior over the line, they're going to have to move some things around with PSR. And I think to sell Miles Lewis-Skelly, especially since he came through the academy, would be sold for pure profit. That would, in my head, make sense. And midfield-wise, he's up against Bruno Guimaraes potentially, Zubamendi, Rice, Mikel Merino's back, etc. So what kind of options are there for him potentially? So yeah, I would... Lewis-Skelly's a name that I would be very much interested in. But it's a shame about Lewis Hall, because I always thought that would be the one.
Yeah, I think these are two incredibly difficult deals to do. I love your optimism of like, oh, what's one more? Chuck one more out in the car boot sale. You're selling all your junk that you don't want anyway. Stop hoarding. Just get rid of it. I like that way of thinking, but I can see why. If I was a Newcastle United fan, I think they're in a really tough position where you look at the hierarchy and all the players that have left. They've got to make a statement. They've got to shut the doors and say no one else is leaving. This, and we're talking about the future. They've let some of the older players go. They've let Tonali go. They've let Guimaraes go. Lewis Hall is the future. He's like 20 years of age, 22 years of age, something like that. He's the future. He could be England's left back for the next 10 years. And whoever has him, hopefully us, But Man United's left back for the next 10 years. He's a top player.
I've said it before as well. We're talking Xerxes here leaving Manchester United. You've got Dan Gore, you've got Toby Colley, you've got Harry Amass that could raise another 15 million or something like that before we actually buy a player. If United got rid of all 4 of them, which we have got talks on all of them, by the way, and no real significant talks of anyone coming in. If Manchester United managed to get deals done for all of them 4 players quickly enough, then you're talking here like Manchester United barely spending anything net-wise. They might even be in and around zero net spend for what they've done before they buy their next player, which is just beyond ludicrous. How have we got to this point? That some will say, financial-wise, it's fantastic business. Some will say it's a lack of ambition. Where are you at? Get into the comment section and let me know what you think, everybody. Make sure you do hit the like button on the video if you're enjoying the content and the constant updates, and smash the subscribe button as always. I'll be back with the next update. God knows where we're going next.